The number one thing that drives Donald Trump is, how do I fill up this black hole inside me, this feeling of my own worthlessness? And he keeps having to up the ante to just get back to even. It's not unlike somebody doing a drug where you're sort of chasing the high. He's chasing the high, and the presidency was the final high that he could reach for, and it's really scary to imagine how he'll respond when he doesn't get it.
Given that you have worked with Donald Trump in such a sort of up-close and personal way, you know, obviously right now, because he's running for president, because he's made sort of very controversial comments, the media is saturated with Donald Trump and everything about his life and his thoughts and his background. Can you tell our audience, our international audience, something about Donald Trump that they likely don't already know?
Wow, that's a really difficult thing to do. I think one of the reasons that I've been speaking out for the last several months is that I think people didn't really believe he could be as bad as he seemed, and he is. I find it very hard to focus on virtues that this man has. No, I don't think I can provide something that they don't know. What I can say is kind of corroborate is the gut instinct that I think right-thinking people have, that this is a man who cares only about himself, and his worldview is something like this. It's very narrow, and he lives in a kind of tiny narcissistic bubble or echo chamber where he rarely sees beyond it. And he's prepared, this is what's most scary, he is prepared to blow up American democracy if that's what it takes to get a sense of self back. And I say that in the sense that he's making all these claims about rigged elections, which have the potential to really become incendiary. So that's actually something that is extraordinary about him, the almost complete self-absorption.
I'm just curious as well. I mean, you know, in that book, The Art of the Deal, he was portrayed as a very obviously super successful tycoon, a very sort of suave businessman. And you obviously, in part, helped to create that image. Is that something that you deeply regret? And do you feel sort of partly responsible, I guess, for creating the Donald Trump that we all know today?
Yes, no question. I feel partially responsible. I don't want to give myself too much credit or too much blame, but there's no question that I painted a much more favorable portrait of Donald Trump than he actually reflected in his real life, and that he was able to use that to build his own image and to kind of use it as a guidebook for how to promote himself. So yes, I feel a certain amount of responsibility. I feel guilt. I feel remorse, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't. That's why I'm doing this, is to try to kind of right the wrong that I helped to create.